I'm just going to start sharing my screen. Give me 1 moment, it's a slideshow. Okay, so you should now just be able to see a nice visual of one of the buildings of the University of York with a swan just quite nicely sat in the front right-hand side. If anybody can't see that, just please let me know, put it in the chat. So to begin again, my name is Nicola. I am a regional manager based at the University of York, and part of my responsibilities is to look after applicants from Turkey and support them alongside British Education Bureau in becoming enrolled students. So the aim of today's presentation is to just give you an overview of the university, some of our ranking information. There is some areas where it looks at our different courses and departments. I will go a bit quickly through those because more than likely I'm speaking to students who either hold an offer with me or I'm looking to just get some more information and know what course they're wanting to study. But as I said, towards the end with the Q&A, if there's anything I've not answered or there's something that comes up in my conversation, please just let me know. So a tiny bit about our achievements. We are a Russell Group University, which means that we are a research-intensive university based in the UK. We're one of 24 universities that have this accolade, and we work very hard to retain it. This is looking at the research and innovation that takes place during your course. This is coming from the academics and the things that they are continuing to do to support the students alongside their teaching responsibilities. And that's the reason why we get this accreditation. We receive over 22,000 students from all over the world. Currently from Turkey, we have over 47 students with us, hoping for September 24 there will be more. But we are a very internationally focused institution, and we get a really nice blend of students from all over the world. Now, we're ranked 139th in the world for the World University Rankings, and I'll go into some of our subject rankings in a moment, but there's 13 top 10 subjects in the Complete University Guide. The top 20 position for earning potential, that's a great feature. That's something that means that when students graduate from the university, their earning potential is set within the top 20 of top earners for graduates, which is really nice. And I think the students, obviously now, especially in this current climate, being able to work either alongside your studies, being able to graduate and be successful, be able to go into employment, these are really key things in what is helping you to make your decision. So looking to, like with York, look at the kind of core jobs that are available as part of your study, what are transferable skills, the professional accreditation that may be attached to your course that will really support you when you're going for that jobs and employment part of your career. So I'm going to jump to a tiny bit on some of our other accolades. So we've been shortlisted for university guides for the University of the Year. This again is fantastic because it's looking at what the students are experiencing alongside their teaching. This is how you live while you're at York, what it feels like to be a student here, just the positive experience that students are having, the safety as well. We're ranked one of the safest cities to live in. The university campus is also very safe. We have roaming security. It's very relaxed, very green campus, very calm. Students cycle around. It's got that really kind of just a very nice, calming feeling. And even though we've got 22,000 students, you would never know it. And I think all this gives us these, University of the Year kind of opportunities based on student feedback. We've also got the Gold Teaching Excellence Framework, so that's great. And I think it's good to mention that with this, it's looking at the teaching, the learning and the student experience throughout all of the years of study. It's not just looking at graduates, it's looking at current students, so you're getting very real and up-to-date feedback on what the experience is for them. And this is how we've been able to achieve that goal. So as I mentioned at the beginning, some of our subject ranking slides, for those students who are interested in sciences, our biological science is 6, chemistry is 7. We are very known as an archaeology university. We've got archaeology and forensic studies, which is very highly ranked. We offer a range of courses in linguistics and languages. With our history department, we also have archives available for students, and then we've got criminology as well. In the QS World Subject Rankings, again, they kind of follow a similar pattern, but with the added extras of English, social policy and administration. The archaeology is ranked very highly in the world rankings. and also linguistics and history. So we do very well in these subjects, and we are continuing to see development in other courses that we're teaching as well. So within the arts, so we have 3 different departments. The first one is arts and humanities, as you can see here. I will mention that with the English and related literature, we also have a wide range of different courses you can take with those, looking at things like Renaissance writing, looking at medieval literature. So there's quite a varied amount available within there. There's also the theatre, film and television, interactive media. We have our own theatre, we have our own media suites, just different facilities available to students. And obviously you see the archaeology. We've got our own archaeological practical sites where students can actually go and practice and dig on the campus grounds. Social sciences, that covers our business courses, our accounting courses, and our law. And I will mention here about the law. One of the reasons why we do so well with our law courses is as part of your study, you do problem-based learning. So you are taking examples of real court cases that are happening at the time of your study and using these to develop your skills. It's a really beneficial way of learning. It's similar to if you were to do finance and using Bloomberg terminals. You are using current and up-to-date financial language and data information, meaning that when you graduate, you are ready to be employable. You are not having to then relearn something to get up to current speed with what's going on. And also with the law, as much as we have our own careers department, the law department has a specific careers office as well, because we recognise those students who may need to do additional qualifications to be able to practice law. So there's a lot that the law school do independently that will really support students going to their next steps. The sciences, I'd say this is probably, especially after my experience recently of being here in Istanbul, the science courses are very popular. Psychology is, I got quite a lot of questions for those. Computer science. Within the computer science, we offer artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data science. Our engineering department have things like engineering and micro mechanical engineering, engineering and electronic engineering. The psychology suite we've got sleep labs available for students. We've got research facilities. For our science students, we have our own laboratories. Same for our computer science, there's hardware laboratories where they can practice and develop those skills. So we do have quite a lot of resources available to each student, whichever course they're going for. Now, I haven't included the undergraduate entry requirements just because there's quite a varied amount that students could be studying. So, for example, today I went to a French school where they were following the French baccalaureate system. I've met with other students who are doing the diploma, and then some others that are doing diploma and linking it with the AP, and then some that are doing the international baccalaureate. So if any of you have any questions of exactly what would be required, I'm happy to go through that. Just generally speaking, for anybody who's following the Turkish curriculum with the high school diploma, we'll be looking at grades between 70 and 86%. And then for students who are doing the IB, we're looking at anything between 35 and 38. And for anyone who potentially is doing the French baccalaureate, we tend to look at around about 15, 16 grade. That's a very general requirement. Each course may have something a bit more specific that they need. So for example, psychology may want science as a subject, mathematics for the business and finance courses. So it's just worth having a look on our website and you'll be able to get a breakdown of exactly what's needed for each one. The English language requirements for undergraduates and postgraduate are actually very similar. We accept the IELTS, that tends to be about 6.5 overall, no less than 6 in each component. We accept TOEFL. We also accept the Duolingo test as well. So that could be something to look at, because I know that getting to an IELTS test centre can be sometimes expensive. The test itself can be expensive. So if Duo is something you'd be considering, then please do let me know and we can support you with that. And as I mentioned, it's quite similar with the postgraduate. Now we do have a pathway college that I'll just mention, highlight quickly. The great thing about our pathway college is it is located on our campus. So if you do have to go for a pathway course, either for undergraduate or postgraduate, you would still be part of the York University and you would still be taught by York academics. By completing either the foundation or the postgraduate pathway and passing that course, you are guaranteed a place to continue your studies at the university. So if for any reason you are having to look at foundation, then please let me know and we can guide you further with that, and BEB can help as well. So this is a breakdown of funding, the fees for the course. So for any of our courses that are just classroom based, they're around 23,700 for undergraduate and 23,900 for postgraduate. For any of those laboratory based courses, so looking at biochemistry, biomedical sciences, those kind of areas, we're looking at a higher amount because you are using laboratories and it's beyond the classroom. So we're looking at 28,800 for undergraduate, 29,400 for postgraduate. As we do also offer medicine courses, I've put those fees in there. And this is where I might just go stop for a moment and just go into a bit about the scholarship opportunities that we have available at the university for this academic year. So we have an international regional scholarship that is between £5,000 and £9,000 off of tuition fees. You do not need to submit any application. Just by applying for the bachelor's degree course or a master's degree course, you'll be automatically assessed for the scholarship. As it's regional based, myself as regional manager will be able to look at applications and be able to put forward who we feel would be strong candidates. The second and third scholarship we offer are for undergraduate only. That is the International Academic Excellence. That's £10,000 off the fees, and that is looking at students' academic grades. And that is, again, no requirement needed. Then we also have departmental scholarships which are available. If you were to, say for example, you were applying to psychology and then you looked in the psychology department had a different type of scholarship, you could apply for that also and you could hold both. So it allows you to hold, say for example, a department scholarship, which would require an application, and then, for example, an international regional scholarship or an academic excellence scholarship. You would be able to have both of those. And then the third scholarship is called Dean's Academic Excellence. That's for undergraduate only. That one is quite competitive because there is only 2 per department. This will look at your academic achievements, what you've done outside of the classroom. So it could be voluntary work, being part of societies and clubs, working part-time to support your academic learning, anything that would support and strengthen your application above others. And this is the amount of £10,000, and that's for every single year. So that one is a very good scholarship, but I won't lie and say it's an easy one to achieve. It is quite difficult. So then the next thing we've got is accommodation. Sorry about that, I just got the phone ringing in the background. The breakdown of the costs for accommodation. So undergraduate accommodation ranges from 3,960 to 8,960. Postgraduate is between 5,049 and 12,189. The reason for the costs is because there's a varied amount of different accommodation that you can pick. So on campus, we've got 6 different accommodation buildings. And you can look at the older style of accommodation or the more modern style of accommodation, and that will obviously affect the cost. You can also look at catered or non-catered. Again, if you go for non-catered, that will bring the cost down. If you go for an ensuite or a shared bathroom, that will also affect the cost. So these are the kind of different varying amounts or different things that will determine how much fee you pay. Now, each and every room does come with heating, electricity and water as standard, contents insurance, 24-hour security. That will be because there is cameras in the reception area. There's reception staff always available, and we have roaming security that are constantly driving around and making sure that everybody's safe. There's Wi-Fi in each room. There's access to a kitchen, even if you do go for catered accommodation. If you decide to share the bathroom, one of the benefits of that is it's professionally cleaned on a regular basis, so is the kitchen. So there's some benefits of sharing, whereas if you're an ensuite, your responsibility is to keep everything clean. And that can add a bit more to your kind of like responsibilities if you don't necessarily want them. So as I mentioned, these are different variations, and the rooms are banded, or the building is banded between 1 and 4. I'll just go and jump to that next one. So if you were to go for a more modern facility, as I mentioned, which would be more recently built, would have like different types of TVs and things like that, then that would make it a bit more expensive. As part of the application for accommodation, you hold an offer from the university first, and then you'll be able to apply for accommodation, and you create a tiny bit of a wish list of exactly what you would need from your room. And then the accommodation team will be able to allocate accordingly. Applications for that are open from the 12th of March. A nice thing as well is if you are staying in accommodation, we have a weekly campus meal, which is a really nice way for students to get together, have something to eat together. And it's just really social and a nice way. It takes the pressure off if you're cooking every night as well, which is lovely. As I mentioned, you can see some of the room banding there. So I'll leave this on for a second, just so if you watch the recording afterwards, you can pause it and just read through what each different room has available, or each banded room has available. So you can get an idea of why things would be a bit more costly and why things would be a bit cheaper. We do have set lengths as well. So it's 40 to 44 weeks for undergraduates and 51 weeks for mainly postgraduates, but undergraduates can use it as well. That means that if you go for that whole amount, then you will be paid slightly more, but it means that you don't have to give up the room during the summer vacation, things like that. Now, I mentioned a bit earlier about the law careers team. We also have the international career support team. So that's a dedicated office for international students, which means they're fully aware of the visa processes, the post-study work visa, how that works, and they can help you with careers advice and guidance, applications, interview support, networking and fairs. We have toolkits available, so we have apps. There's one called Handshake, there's one called Student Circus. These all list jobs available to international students. So the Student Circus app has already filtered through the jobs that will sponsor a student. So it means you're not wasting your energy applying for a job where they might turn around at the end and say, we're not going to be able to sponsor you. This means that cuts that down and allows you to look for jobs you know you would be eligible to apply for. The careers team also help with volunteering and placement opportunities and internships, which usually come along with most of our courses. But if there's anything that you're interested in, the careers team can support you if you go for that next step. And this is what I mentioned here about the internships. So a lot of our students do tend to do that between 4 and 12 weeks, maybe during the summer break. It allows them to do some project-based internships around York, and it's exclusively for York students as well. So they usually run over the summer period, and it means that you'll be able to do some part-time internship and develop those practical skills. So the York University will support them with that. This is some of our undergraduates' experience and some of the companies that they've worked with, so you can get an idea realistically of the kind of organisations you could get some experience with as part of a placement. So this was departments that were offering a year in industry, which were like biology, chemistry, etc. And then you can see the companies they were going for. So it's like Unilever, GSCO, GlaxoSmithKline&Beecher. We've got the IBM, we've got Pfizer, L'Oreal, Jaguar. So they're very big, well-known companies that take on the students and give them these practical experiences whilst they study. This is just a nice way of being able to assess how you feel, what would be most suitable for you, and different opportunities that you can undertake as alongside your teaching. And these are just the final few slides before I go into York itself. So we offer a lot of college support and a lot of student support. Well-being is very important to us. We've travelled, quite a distance, and it's a lot to be able to then come to the university and start your studies. We have the option for students to come and speak to people, be able to take part in different activities, and just really feel like they're getting their well-being and their health looked after whilst they're here. So this can either be through a completely like a accommodation-based support network. It could be through an academic support network. But the good thing is about the accommodation support is it's peer-to-peer. So you'll be speaking to other fellow students. You'll be speaking to academic tutors and things like that. So sometimes there's things that you want to speak to your tutor with, sometimes it's not. So we've got these different variations of support that are available. And as you can see, some of the lovely societies that our students are involved with, you don't have to be getting taught in this subject area to be able to take part. So for example, we've got music, we've got choirs, We've got band practices. Some of our current students practice in the York Minster. We've got our own theatre and live areas, so students perform live. We've got faith groups and societies. We've got a lot of activities that are very much like sports. So because we've got a massive river running through York, we're very popular for our rowing. We've got indoor and outdoor basketball, netball, squash, tennis, courts. We've got football pitches. We've got a student there at the bottom right who is doing archery, so we've got archery contests. We've got 2 gyms on campus. One of them has a swimming pool and spa. There's also a running track, cycle lanes. There's the traditional gyms as well, where you can just use the normal facilities and work out. So all these are available to students whilst they're with us. And then this is just my little bit about York, which I can't really finish the presentation without discussing it slightly, because York is just such a wonderful city to be part of. And I think not a lot of students probably are that aware of York, where it is, and its significance. So York is in North Yorkshire, with the northeast of England. So we luckily still get quite a nice bit of warm weather, occasional bits of rain, very much like Istanbul right now, actually. The picture there that you can see is the York Minster, so that's a 15th century Gothic cathedral that was built. The image on the bottom right, the statue, that's Emperor Constantine, who was the Roman emperor who ruled over York. So originally York was a Viking settlement, so for anybody who's interested in archaeology or history, there is so much to be found here. There's a Jorvik Centre, which actually houses some of the remains of a city that you can walk through, which is what it would have been like to walk around York in the period when there was Vikings and things. And then when the Romans came, they built the protective wall that goes around York, so you can actually walk around that still. So it's very historical. We've got the Shambles, which is a really old cobbled street where the buildings are all kind of coming in on themselves. That was supposedly the inspiration for the Diagon Alley in Harry Potter, because it's very Harry Potterish. There's even shops that sell wands. You can buy your own ghost when you're walking down the Shambles. It's a 2-hour wait though, but you can do. So it's very historical, but at the same time it's also contemporary. We've got opera houses, we've got theatres, we've got cinema, we've got an art museum which does modern and contemporary art as well as classic. There's lots of places to eat and drink, but it is a very safe city, so you will feel very comfortable walking around and won't feel in any way like you're unsafe. It's enjoyable. It's a lovely place to be, and to be able to be that close, so you can go from the York campus, walk down to the city centre in maybe like 15-20 minutes. So you're part of this really nice, striking city, but you can also step away from it, go to your campus, and be part of the university life as well. So it's almost like you get 2 worlds in one, which is really lovely. I've covered a bit of that, but you can see the people walking all there. And as I mentioned, some of the different features that we have available. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. This is the opportunity for you to ask any questions that you might have. If there's anything I've gone over a bit too quickly, or anything you'd like to know, then please do. And yeah, I can help really.